talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. One, two, three, four. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your Tuesday? Hope you're having a good one. Tonight, let me tell you about carnivorous plants. As a matter of fact, there's one behind me here. It's about to eat a bug. They eat living creatures, animals, kind of. But we'll get to all that in just a second. If you could do me a favor right now, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those free things, absolutely free, that you can do that help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful the algorithm. And that would be awesome. We have super chats. We have memberships. We love it when you help us out that way because it helps us pay the bills around here. And then please check it out in the bottom of the thing with the scroll. You can see how to turn on your gifted memberships. Lots of very generous philanthropic people out of the goodness of their heart will give you a free membership to this program. So you can get that exclusive members-only content that I'm too scared to release to the general public. Let's see here. Tomorrow night, USA Up All Night will be our topic. Thursday night, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Upcoming topics will be the wife of President Woodrow Wilson. Some people think she's the first female president ever in the United States' history. We're also, because we are doing USA Up All Night, we're going to do a show on its precursor, which was called Night Flight. And if I had enough information, I'd do one on Commander USA's Groovy Movies. But I don't have enough information as yet. I'm searching. It's tough. It's just tough. We've got comments coming your way already. Can we please, StreamYard, can you please help me out a little bit? Just a little bit. Gilman is here. He says, we're talking about spiders. We're talking about pervitine. We're talking about Bigfoot. And, yes, today, carnivorous plants. Gilman loves the new music video. I hope some of you do as well. We haven't really gotten a lot of comments. We've got a few positive comments, but a lot of people just kind of going, yeah, whatever. I'm thanking him there. Coach Mike Rodick is here with us. Good evening to all my friends in chat. Oh, hey, Tom. The Wolf is here. Almost called him today, but I knew if I called him, I wouldn't be able to take a nap because we'd talk right up until showtime. But always good to see the Wolf. Coach Mike Rodick says, I'm here on time. Let's get on with it. Whatever it is. Exactly. I don't know what the deal is lately. It's like we've been running off strings of shows, and we don't do great on this thing, but we'll get a couple hundred views, and then we'll just get, like last night's show was just like crickets. I don't know what to do about that. Speaking of crickets, though, carnivorous plants love crickets. They just absolutely love them. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet as verified by independent sources. Is there any other business I got to take care of? I don't think there is. Other than cracking open this Mountain Dew Zero. I just got Mountain Dew Zero all over my hand. Metal Maiden Vicky is here. A Thursday night show about Rocky Horror. That's in her honor. The Wolf is responsible for the Up All Night that we're going to do. Night Flight and Up All Night, when you put them together, see, Night Flight was on before Up All Night. When you put them together, it's like 15 or 20 years worth of stuff. Both of them on a long time. Anyway, we'll cover those later. I guess right now, by the way, during the show, please be aware that an insect is being A, tortured, and B, eaten behind me on screen. There you go. Goober. Goober is with us. Says, Tom, if you were a carnivorous plant, what carnivorous plant would you be? I don't know if I could eat a bug. That's a toughie. I might have to be a pitcher plant just because it's less. I don't know. I don't think I want to be a carnivorous plant, really, seriously. Main Vicky's ready to learn about carnivorous plants. And with that being said, we might as well get to it. I know, let's see here. I know probably many of them, but fun learning new ones. Yes, it's always fun to learn about a new carnivorous plant. Can't get enough of those. And it's going to make me small, and I got to make myself big. It's just this new StreamYard. Oh, by the way, I should mention, thank you, StreamYard. I have a lot of pictures for this particular show. Images, some would say graphics, others would say, and half of them didn't load. So I had to recreate them and load them again. Thank you, StreamYard. They're supposed to be helping. They're really not helping. They are just not helping. Goober, it is a great question, but man, who wants to eat a bug? By the way, that thing in front of us right now, that's a pitcher plant. I'll get to it. Trust me. Carnivorous plants, let me tell you about carnivorous plants. Carnivorous plants are plants that derive some or most of their nutrients, we all know how important nutrients are, by trapping and consuming animals, typically insects, but occasionally small mammals and birds. Let me just repeat that. Occasionally small mammals and birds. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but a baby is a small, I don't think they're eating babies, but still, birds, small mammals, anyway, they get all their energy from photosynthesis like all other plants, but they've adapted to grow in waterlogged, sunny places where the soil is thin or poor in nutrients. So they adapted and found a way. They were like in the middle of evolution and they said, God, I could use a nutrient. It's around lunchtime. Why don't I adapt and learn how to eat animals for my nutrients? Yeah. You can find these suckers on every continent except Antarctica. Yeah. Charles Darwin, as a matter of fact, published a little thing called Insectivorous Plants, the first publication to recognize the significance of what they call carnivory, means eating animals, in plants, describing years of painstaking research. Now, true carnivory is believed to have evolved independently at least 12 times in 5 different orders of flowering plants. It's represented by more than a dozen genera. This classification includes at least 583 species that attract. Come here, little guy. Trap, and then kill their prey, absorbing the resulting We're going to say nutrients a lot in this episode, okay? So just get ready. Venus flytraps, pitcher plants, like you see before you now. Let's just make that nice and big for you. Pitcher plants, yes, and bladderworts, which just sounds bad. I'm sorry. Look, Doc, I got a bladderwort right here. It's on my thigh. Anyway, they're like examples of the key elements that are associated with carnivorous plants. I'll get to those in just a second. They're not going to get any better than what you're thinking in your head right now. Now, the known number of species has increased by about 3 per year since the year 2000. Plus, there's like 300 species that show some, but not all, of the characteristics required to be a true carnivorous plant. And by the way, about a quarter of these are threatened with extinction. And by threatened, I don't mean some guy came to their house. I mean they're just slowly going extinct. Maybe the bugs had something to do with it. And by the way, I am kind of glad that the carnivorous plants and the insects are having a war, because I don't like either one of them. Both of these are just not great, if you ask me. In a second, I'm going to tell you what things a plant needs to be considered a carnivorous plant. As you know, there's quite a competition. Anyway, Middlemaid Vicky says eating bugs is just one of the many reasons I could never go on reality shows like Survivor, Amazing Race, etc., or Fear Factor. Incidentally, for those of you who are newly initiated in the Tom Gulley Show, I did a whole show about eating bugs, because there's parts of the world where people actually do eat bugs. Where are those parts of the world? I hear you cry out. Well, they're the exact places that you would think. They're the exact... they don't just accidentally eat them or eat them in desperation. They fix them up. They loves them a dead bug for eating. And they're the exact places you think they would be. Let's get some more of your comments here. The Wolf says, maybe if you red rum somebody live on air, one or two people would hear about it and check in. Probably hoping to find, here's Johnny. There's a bunch of things I could do to get more viewers. You know, I could at the beginning of every show stick my finger up my nose to the last knuckle. There's lots of things, people on the internet. I just read a really great paper on why the internet is sort of warping certain things, because people want a freak show. That's what they want, man. They sell way more copies of Harlequin romances than they do Shakespeare. It's the way of our society. It's been that way since the beginning. My problem is, because there's 2.4 billion people on YouTube, is just getting to some of the smart ones. The cool people, like yourselves, like those of you listening. Just got to be exposed to more of those people. Anyway, people saying hi. Not even the chocolate-covered ones. Yeah, they try to chocolate up bugs. It doesn't work. And by the way, in defense of these carnivorous plants, they don't need chocolate. They're happy to eat them raw. Anyway, Coach Mike Rodick says, someone I knew when I was young had a Venus flytrap. I was terrified of it thanks to cartoons. Well, I guess this isn't going to make you feel any better, Mike. There you go. There's a little something for you right there. Let's get the pitcher plant back up here just for a minute. People saying hi. Let's see. Now, Metal, that depends on whether it's German chocolate. Yeah, we're talking about protein. Oh, here's London. You may know her as Miss Me. Hello. Always good to see you, London. Very, very glad to see you. Hello, Miss. Metal Maid Vicky says, yes, Fear Factor. They did some crazy stuff on that show. Yeah, as a matter of fact, on Fear Factor, you'd be lucky to get bugs to eat. They made you eat mule anus and other, not even warm, not even with some sauce, just straight up. Miss Me said, I had a Venus flytrap. Unfortunately, it died. Yeah, they're hard to care for. But what do you think it requires to be called a carnivorous plant? Well, number one, you have to capture the prey in a trap. That's the first thing. You have to be able to capture it in a trap of some kind. Number two, you have to kill the captured prey. It can't remain alive. So the plant has to indulge in murder. Then the plant has to be able to digest the captured prey. Then it has to be able to absorb those nutrients we've been talking about so much. And then it has to use those nutrients for the purpose of growing and developing. Yes. There's some other traits like how they attract the prey and things, but those 5 things are the big ones. Now, there are a certain number. There's also 5 trapping mechanisms. There's what they call pitfall traps. And those are the ones that trap prey in a rolled leaf. Rolled meaning kind of circular, kind of like a column. And it contains a pool of digestive enzymes or bacteria. Say, let me show you one. There you are. This is a pitcher plant here, and as you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but the bottom of it is filled with fluid. And the plants themselves emit this sort of sweet odor, and so the prey goes in, the sides are slippery, and it falls down into that stuff, which has those enzymes and the bacteria, which the bug can't escape. I'll show you another one, just in case you think it happened by accident. Look at that. There's a moth that's fallen down into that pool of ick. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying there? Because that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's awful. It's just awful. There's another kind called flypaper traps. This is a flypaper trap. And it's basically just a leaf that is so sticky that once the bug lands on it, you're stuck. And it just, they roll around in it. We all know how awful that can be, and then they're done. There's ones called snap traps that use very rapid leaf movement, and that's the aforementioned Venus flytrap. So as you can see, this bug is just about to be snapped. And then later on, it'll open, and there'll be a little bug carcass there, just like the skeleton. That's about it. There's what are called bladder traps that look kind of like a pitcher plant, but they've got a big sort of bladder on them. And those suck in the prey with a bladder that generates an internal vacuum. Yes. And then there's what they call lobster pot traps, also known as eel traps. And those use inward pointing hairs, right, to force the prey to move toward a digestive organ. So here's another example of one of those. That's just wonderful, isn't it? Isn't that great? Now, these traps can be either active or passive, depending upon... let me just show this other one again here for a while. I think we've all gotten used to that pitcher plant there. They can be active or passive, depending on whether the movement aids in the capture of the prey. That passive flypaper one secretes mucilage, but those leaves don't move or anything in response to the capture. They're just hanging out, passive. Meanwhile, and these are also called sundews, they're active flypaper traps whose leaves undergo rapid acid growth, which is an expansion of individual cells. So that allows these tentacles to bend, aiding in the retention of digestive ick. Awful stuff. Ick. Bad. By the way, I'm going to go ahead. I do have a video here. I know you were dying for a video. I do have a video that I am going to show you about this rotten, terrible, just not good thing. I gotta hold on. The video's playing here. I wish I could slow this video down a little bit. Well, actually, it doesn't need to be slowed down. But I am going to show you this video, and you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it one bit. No, you're not. It's not going to make you very happy. But I'm going to show it to you anyway. Here we go. Let me see if I can slow it. No, I don't think I can slow it down. All right, this is one of those. And so, trigger warning, you are going to see a bug get killed here. I'm sorry. Anyway, here you go. The thing starts it going, and then this plant, as you can see, it's moving a little bit. It starts to kind of, and that thing's stuck. It isn't going anywhere. And help me. And it just kind of folds over and says, thanks for playing. I think you get the rest. We want to see it again? All right, let's go one more time. Help me. I just wanted some sticky, delicious dew. Help me. Help me. Yeah. There you are, kids. Kids, don't do drugs. Stay in school. I'm so sorry. Oh, great. It just took me to a completely blank screen. Thank you, StreamYard. I'm actually supposed to be on screen right now. Why am I not? Nobody knows. Why? It's StreamYard. That's why. Let's just put that on the screen with me right now. Doesn't that look great? Doesn't that look like a great place to sleep? I think I'll just kind of, hang out here, and looks like a lovely mattress-like place for a bug to land, and then they get what's coming to them. Yeah, they get what's coming to them. Anyway, let's read some of your comments here. Let's just read some of your comments there. The Wolf says, let's hope we don't have meteor showers that cause mobile plants to grow like Day of the Triffids. Day of the Triffids, yeah. Well, the Triffids are part of the Rocky Horror Picture Show opening song. And the Day of the Triffids, I'm sorry, I've seen it, and I've seen they remade it many years later. You can outrun one of those? Are you kidding me? Anyway, a lot of Triffids. Miss Me says, nature is fascinating. It is. Hi, Miss Me, and agreed about nature. People saying hi. Miss Me is also known as London. The Wolf says, it's just as effective as me adding sugar to boric acid, creating a wonderful treat for ants and other freeloaders trying to make a home without paying remuneration. Yes, the Wolf cooks up some very fine, deadly bug things. And all bugs must die, okay? Really? I mean, we all know this. Melanie V says, so intricate and colorful. Yes. Yes. That thing looks like a seahorse going wrong. It does a little bit. Villain, sorry, says gooey Sundew egg drop soup. Yeah, throw a little of that in your soup. Doc Torn is here. Always good to see him. Doc Torn, great to see you, buddy. We've been missing you. Spiders, Pervitine, and Bigfoot. Oh my. People saying hi. I will to like it and be happy. People saying hi. People saying hi. Hey, fella. Plants have feelings too. Well, you know, plants in general, I don't mind. I don't just like the ones that eat bugs are creepy. Villain says bugs were harmed in the making of this video. They really were. It's okay. I have the video marked not for kids. Doc says, yes, unalive the bug. People saying hi. People saying hi. Villain's laughing. This has been a Tom Gulley narration. Miss Me is laughing. The Wolf bringing back something from... If you grew up in Indianapolis in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, why? 'Cause old Dave needs the money. That's why. You won't find a car price less than you will at Dave Mason Buick. Why? 'Cause old Dave needs the money. That's why. Anyway, I'm sorry. Okay, pitfall traps. We already told you a little bit about some of the pitfall traps, right? We got into that with you a little bit. They're characterized by an internal chamber, and there's like 6 different ways or technical groupings of plant that do this. And that's just happened through evolution, all right? These plants do not share a common ancestor, by the way, which is very, very, very rare in the world of evolution. And it's an example of something called convergent evolution. That's when, like, the same thing happens in nature independently. So it's not like there was one plant that, like, a whole bunch of derivations came off of. No, these happened independently, which is kind of cool. So with these particular plants, they're a passive trap. Okay, they don't do anything. They just sit there and they collect all that stuff in the bottom, and then they have the enzymes and the other things that are in there. It's somewhat acidic, so it can break down that animal's keratin shell and all that other stuff. So they attack the prey with these nectar bribes that are secreted by something called peristome, and that's the feature that surrounds like the opening there, and very bright colors, you know. That's known as anthocyanin, by the way, that attract the bugs. That attracts the bugs. Yeah. Sorry, I had to cough. The linings of most pitcher plants are covered in a loose coating of waxy flakes, which are very, very, very slippery for insects, and it causes them to fall down into the pitcher. And once within that structure, that goop at the bottom breaks down the prey into an absorbable form for the plant. Water can become trapped within the pitcher, which also makes it a habitat. Yeah. They find them all over the place. Anywhere that's like got a lot of water and very little soil, or if there's soil, it's really, really, really soggy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a second major group of pitcher plants that are known as monkey cups. Yes, monkey cups. So monkey cups are like a flower, and I don't have a picture of one. And there's a good reason for that. I was laughing too hard once I found out they were called monkey cups. But imagine what this pitcher plant here does, right? Only at the end of a flower. So basically it's a flower or a plant that has, stems coming off it, and at the end of each stem is one of these cups, and it does the exact same thing. It's a party, man. It's a real party. Now, technically, although this is a flypaper trap, the thing I showed you earlier, that is also technically a flypaper trap. Some of them are passive, some of them are active. This one, as you just saw in the video, called Attack of the Tom Gulley Show's Carnivorous Plants in most of your major motion picture theaters, but mostly drive-ins. This also is a passive trap, okay? And it's a flypaper trap. And I don't think I need to explain it any more than that. It's a flypaper thing, it causes the insect to stick to it, and then it's done. That guy there thinks he's going to get away, but nope. Not going to happen. Not going to do it. Nah. And then we all know about the Venus flytrap. All of us do from, science class as a kid or various movies. You see a lot of movies. These plants don't actually eat humans, although humans could be small mammals, which I mentioned at the start of the show. Didn't want to freak anybody out and harsh out their buzz or anything, but they could be. There you go. There's another one for you. Look at that guy. He's not going to have any fun. And if you've seen live video of this, those things, the bugs struggle like crazy, and you think they could get out. They're not getting out. They're not getting out. I'm sorry. By the way, halfway through the show, please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. All those things, man, they don't cost you a penny. All they cost you is a click. We'd love it if you could help us out that way, because it does help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful algorithm. And also, if you do that, it wards off carnivorous plants. Nightmares about carnivorous plants? No, we can't be held responsible for that, but the plants themselves. Also, we have super chats and memberships. We love it when you help us out that way. It helps us pay the bills around here. It also helps my ego quite a bit. I don't, right after the show, crawl into the bed in a fetal position and keep repeating, why doesn't anybody like me? Over and over and over until I fall asleep in a puddle of my own tears and shame. So it helps with that. And also at the bottom of the screen, you can tell in the crawl how to turn on your gifted memberships. Occasionally, very, very, very generous people give out those gifted memberships, which are just as good as a super chat or a membership. They're just for other people. It just makes you look cool in front of the chicks or the dudes, depending upon your thing that you're into. Yeah. By the way, this trapping mechanism I'm showing you right now has also been referred to as a mouse trap, a bear trap, or a man trap, which I always thought was a, hot girl with not much education and probably a few kids by another guy. It's just what I learned watching Jerry Springer. I'm sorry. The term snap trap is preferred because those other designations are kind of misleading and, I might mention a lot of these kill spiders, just in case you're anti-spider. All of these particular snap traps are almost identical in the way they function and the way they appear. It's the two sort of pods, one on each side, and then pow, they go together. They've got these trigger hairs, and the best way to see those, if you look at this, you see those little hairs on the inside in the red portion of the plant? Those are called trigger hairs, okay? And when those are bent, ion channels of the membrane of cells at the base of that trigger hair open up, and they generate this stimuli that goes into the cells at what they call the midrib. That's the lighter section in the very middle of the plant there, right? And those cells respond by their own action, which is rapid acid growth there, makes that part become weak for just a second, and bam, they close. The mechanism itself, there's a lot of debate about it, but in any case, it gets triggered and it snaps shut, okay? And it just captures the prey. That whole process from the triggering to the closing takes less than a second. And in the Venus flytrap, response to raindrops and debris that's kind of blown in, that's actually prevented by the leaves having this very simple memory. And by that I mean for those two lobes to shut, two stimuli are required, a half a second to 30 seconds apart. So one little thing won't do it. It's got to be a prolonged or a repeated thing. Yeah, which makes it even creepier, right? Am I right? Am I right, people? It's even creepier. Yeah. Now, bladder traps, which I don't really have an example of, so I'll just show you another pitcher plant. They look kind of like a pitcher plant, only they have like a thing that looks like gout on someone's neck, right? And the bladders pump out stuff, and they get water through osmosis, which generates a vacuum inside this quote-unquote bladder. The bladder has a small opening which is sealed by a hinged door, right? And yeah. And they have some hairs on them as well that deform that door, which releases the vacuum and sucks whatever it's going to kill into the bladder. So it's kind of like, imagine something that's got a vacuum on it, and then the door pops open and the air rushes into that vacuum, bringing the ill-fated prey with it. Yeah, man. It's so not cool. Dude, it is so not cool, As for the digestion, because I know many of you are thinking about the digestion, you're saying to yourself, Tom, how does it digest this stuff? Okay, well, they produce a digestive fluid that smothers or kills the prey, as well as any other physical things that's happening to the bug. And yeah, the digestion fluid is normally nutrient poor. Okay, so the digestive fluid doesn't really have any nutrients in it, but it's sticky, and bugs, there's, prey to water or anything wet anyway, and like if it's deep. And the body of the prey is decomposed by a cocktail of hydrolytic enzymes, which are stored in subcellular compartments or synthesized over and over as needed. Yeah. Proteins of the digestive fluid include proteases, chitinases, which partly destroy exoskeletons of insects, phosphatases, and nucleases. Eesh. One of the most interesting things to people that are into botany and watching bugs die, I suppose, is that the majority of these plants grew, as I mentioned earlier, independent of each other. They had no one central, plant that variations were created from. No. They're so creepy, they just did it on their own. And they adapt to extreme habitats. Most of these are in areas that have a lot of life, waterlogged soils, and soil that has very little nitrogen or phosphorus, right? And that's why the plants need to get those things from another source. So that's why they develop that way. Yeah. And so because they get so much light, they do a lot of photosynthesis. And that's what creates all the energy that allows them to make, motion and all of these goopy, terrible, sticky things that they do. That doesn't just happen. They need energy for that. And so they put that energy to work, creating a death trap for bugs and small mammals and occasionally birds. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what they do. That's so what they do. Now, these things are widespread. You can find them anywhere, or they're found anywhere, but they're rare. There's not a lot of them. They normally are in bogs, okay? Swampy places. There's a few of them that grow in dry soil, but not very many. And yeah. So the leaves on these things aren't just for photosynthesis. They're also a trap, a deadly trap. One of the things about them is that, and by the way, half of these species are considered threatened. Why? Because of man. Agriculture, people collect them, pollution, other kinds of plants overgrow them, residential commercial development, energy production, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But nobody cares because they eat bugs. They're not exactly popular with people. Yeah. Incidentally, because they keep finding new examples of these creatures, the classifications change all the time. They'll find another one that does another thing, and then they got to completely redo the whole scientific definition of these plants. Oh, yeah. You betcha. By the way, there are medicinal uses. The secretions produced by carnivorous plants contain compounds that have antifungal properties and may lead to the development of a new class of antifungal drugs that will be effective against infections. How about that? That's got to be great. Culturally, these have been described since about 1789. Charles Darwin himself was into that. And not just Charles Darwin, Erasmus Darwin. You remember Erasmus Darwin, right? He was a doctor related to Charles Darwin. He was his grandfather. And Charles Darwin had a grandson, which would have made him, this guy, Francis Darwin, the great-great-grandson of Erasmus. Let's just say the Darwins were into bug-eating plants, okay? Can we just cut to the chase? This is a bizarre story. In 1860, residents of Providence, Rhode Island, dug up the grave of the state's founder, Roger Williams, intending to remove his remains and put it in a new memorial, because that honors people when you move their earthly remains. And they found only teeth, fingernails, bone fragments, and an apple tree root that had grown along where the body had been. Yep. And they started calling it the tree that ate Roger Williams. There's other examples of man-eating plants and things which have all proved to be apocryphal. There are no man-eating plants outside of fiction. But they're always highly inaccurate. We all remember, Little Shop of Horrors, things like that, books, mockumentaries, the 1951 novel and subsequent film adaptation of Day of the Triffids, post-apocalyptic novel by English science fiction author John Wyndham. After most of people in the world are blinded by a meteor shower, an aggressive species of plants starts killing them. So yeah, that's the thing, is that the Triffids got them because they were blind, but they made noises. All you'd have to do is lock up your house, for crying out loud. Anyway, as much as we'd like them to be true, all of those are untrue. They're very untrue. And that really is all I have to tell you this evening about carnivorous plants. I see some funny stuff in my chat right now. What's the best bug-eaten picture I have to put up here while we're doing it? How about this one? How about that one there? That looks like a fine bug-eaten picture. Anyway, the wolf says, kids, bright colors in nature mean death. Oh, boy. Hey, by the way, if you guys could share this show on your social media, I'd appreciate it. Metal Maiden Vicky, you don't have to. I already posted it to your channel. I think your people have just, the people at the, Sonic Asylum Radio Facebook page are just like, yeah, I'm not watching that again. Let's see here. Yes, like those cute little colorful frogs. Oh, they're so cute. They're so colorful. But they mean death. Melanie Vicky says, but some frogs make you trip, which is pretty wild. Yeah, but you got to lick them. Paz is here. Happy Tuesday to you, Paz. The wolf says they just need a little nail polish to help with their escape. People saying, hi, hello, Gilman. Always good to see you. People said, hello. Oh, my Martha. There sure are a lot of pretty plants out there. Yeah. People saying hi. People saying hi. People saying hi. Most cheerful chat room on the internet as verified by independent sources. By golly. The wolf says, I'm not going to get buffaloed by no plant. No, sir. I'm not falling for their suspicious behavior. Some of these plants, people saying hi. Being dissolved would suck. You're so right, Paz. Especially by a plant. Can you imagine how dumb you'd feel? Especially at next day at school, at lunch. God, what happened to you? I got dissolved by a plant. Wolf says, gee whiz, those plants sure are crafty. They are. They are. Gilman says, I remember dying over and over playing Super Mario by those plants. There we are. People saying hi. Scott LaRock, good to see you. Scott says, orchids and butterflies are colorful and they're harmless. I don't know that orchids are. Isn't there something about orchids? There's certain orchids you can make poison with their leaves or something like that, man. Let me see here. Let's find out, shall we? Well, they can cause mild stomach upset. How about that? Or irritation. And you should keep them out of, reach of pets and small children. Some people are allergic to orchids or their pollen. How about that? What was the other thing you mentioned? Butterflies. I don't know if butterflies are. Well, people saying hi. I bet eating butterflies would suck too. Deny. I'm denying something. All right, here we go. Let's see. I'll find out for you. I'll find out for you. I'm into research. Oh, while butterflies themselves are generally harmless and not dangerous to humans, some butterfly species, especially their caterpillar stages, can be toxic if ingested. Yes, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yeah, the monarch butterfly, toxic. So don't kid yourself. They're so toxic. People saying hi. The wolf says, Susan, my stomach feels irritated. Did you put orchids in my soup again? Not just your stomach, but your mouth and your throat and the whole thing. Injecting butterflies is also toxic. Yeah, you never want to hang out with someone who's been mainlining butterflies. Get away from them. Why do you think they call it dope, kids? Whoops. Forgot to put the flap down on my Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew Zero. Zero, I might add. Phone lines are open. It doesn't look like we're going to get any super chats or memberships today, so I'll just take the begging. See, this is what I like to call the begging banner. This is the begging banner. We'll just take the begging banner down, and we'll put the phone call banner up. And Wolf, you don't have to call in because I'm expecting you to comment heavily tomorrow. Join us tomorrow and we can talk about Up All Night like crazy. USA Up All Night was a great show. Night Flight was really good too, I have to admit. They were kind of the same show, really. But one had people and the other one just had an announcer. Let me see something here. I'm looking for this. And I'm looking for that. Can you dig it? There we go. That's all better now. Just bang my Ball State ring on my metallic edge of my desk. Can't be having that. Oh, boy, I got to get back to the comments here. Let's see. Come on, Daddy. What are you on? What are you people on dope, Mr. Hand? Yes. I don't know. I'm going to leave that up for the rest of my classes. The wolf says, those are some awfully colored butterflies. I wonder what that might mean. Bout is here. Says, love you, love the show, H2BH, H2BH. And I'm even going to commit it to my screen, H2BH. Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Those of you who don't watch the Pod Awful Cult need to start watching the Pod Awful Cult. Good friends of the show. And give them $1. Of course, not until you give me $1, of course. Let's not get crazy. Hey, Boat, what do you think of the new opening of the show? Are you into that thing? Hello, Boat. Boat, a fellow resident of the great state of Texas. Sorry, didn't mean to dox you. It's a big state. Can that even be really considered doxing? Your name's Boat. I don't think anybody's going to find you. Wow. Boat says, I'm a fan of the new opening. Hello, Kim. I haven't been to the Discord for Pod Awful Cult to see if everybody likes it. I assume you guys will love it because there's lots of pictures of me to make fun of. People saying hi. Hello, Boat Boy. Boat's a great guy. He's a fine gentleman. A fine gentleman. Man, that is one dead bug here on my show tonight. 972-994-6822 if you'd like to talk about dead bugs, carnivorous plants, lawn and garden, automotive, personal hygiene. Gilman says, is that BDP Scott LaRock? BDP? I don't know what that means. Discord just sounds like Discord. Discord sounds like Datcord. Any old way. So now we're just sitting around talking about dead bugs. Yep. I knew it would one day come down to this. Just sitting around talking about dead bugs. A lot of elementary schools, like usually around third grade, the cool teacher will have a Venus flytrap, and everybody will gather around when he puts a fly in the thing, in the terrarium, and then you get to watch the happen. And then like 3 or 4 days later, whatever it is, you get to come back and look at the now open petals again with all the exoskeleton and all that, whatever, potpourri like residue is left from the bug eating, the eating of the bugs, which, who can't get enough of that? I certainly can't. One of the problems I have with the show tomorrow for Up All Night is that I've got the logo, and there's no other pictures, really, of it. I'll find some other ones. I can get Gilbert Gottfried and the other hosts and some things. But, let's see here. Boat Boy says, hello, Metal Maiden Vicky. I listened to one of your recent shows. You see, Metal Maiden Vicky, there is a benefit to the Tom Gulley Show for Sonic Asylum Radio. Wolf says, just sitting around talking about the Motown sound. That's right. That's what we do here. That's what we do here. Speaking of bugs, I've got the Exterminator coming on Thursday. Which is because we're getting into the springtime and you have to do that preventive thing, right? So that means tomorrow I'll have to clean the place up and put all my, foodstuffs and seasonings and things in plastic bags and prep for that. That'll be great. Let's see here. Vicky is, I suppose, responding to Boat says, you did. Thank you so much. Curious, was it on my YouTube channel or the Sonic Asylum Radio website recap area? Hard to say. Maybe we'll get an answer. Yeah. They tell you got to leave while they're doing. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. No. Do your business and get the heck out of here. It's odorless and colorless. It leaves no trace. Then I shouldn't have any problems, should I, Slappy? Yeah. Mess up my whole day. I'll mess up the whole day. Never announce when they're going to show. It's just, it's like everything else. It's supposed to be helping, but they're not helping. Not one little bit. Is there anything else I got coming up here? I think I mentioned everything. Yeah, we got stuff coming up. Let's see. Boat says, I did it through the recap area. I used to do a similar online show thing, so I took a gander. By the way, the Tom Gulley Show, facilitating conversations of other shows is the hallmark of this program. The Wolf says, well, I'm ready to finish watching the 5,000 Hands of Mr. T. Sweet. Thanks again. Anything I can do to help, by golly. Anything I can do to help. Yeah. Maybe YouTube is throttling me. Maybe somebody high up at YouTube went, have you seen what this guy's doing? He did a show on ingrown toenails. He did one on vomiting and one on jock straps and one on... Yeah, let's just taper him off a little bit, shall we? Well, I don't know. He did one on the Lincoln assassination. That's not bad, right? He did one on, hamburgers. Everybody likes hamburgers. He did one on pizza. He did one on Get Smart, Lost in Spain. He doesn't seem like a bad guy to me. Did I mention the ingrown toenail? He did one on nail clippers, for crying out loud. We need to tamp that down. We don't want Congress to get involved. They'll raid the place. They'll shut us down. They'll use him as the example. So anyway. Yep. Just kind of talking about bug-eating plants. Julian Zeezer has arrived. He says, hi, Tom. Hi, all. Hello, Julian. Good to see you. Most cheerful chat room on the internet is verified by independent sources. Please like, share, subscribe, retweet. Notification bell doesn't cost you a penny. Helps us out immensely with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, non-plant eating bug algorithm. And, by the way, if you can post the show, one of your favorite shows, just take it and post it on your Facebook, your Twitter, your TikTok, your Instagram, your group email at work. And people saying, well, this is people saying hi. People saying hi. Perhaps if you offered a box of chocolates, things would smooth out. No, that would just get them more hyped up. They had Pervitine. Best topic ever. I got to go back and watch from the beginning soon. Well, thank you, Julian. I appreciate that. Did you guys hear that? Did you hear that noise just now? A simple yes or no will do. It was pretty loud where I'm at. Yes, says Metal Main Vicky. Yeah. I heard it. What was that? What was that? That's the idiot in the neighborhood that's got a vehicle with no muffler, who for some reason, instead of just has to floor it. I believe a discussion is in order. And this will be the last discussion we'll have, you see. The next discussion I have will be with the local gendarme. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to rat him out to the local gendarme. And it ain't like it's not on a regulated basis. I know when the guy gets home. I know when he leaves. Exactly. And all I have to say is, if you were to happen to be around about this time, Wolf says, yes, we heard the sound of raw power, the explosive race-ready vehicle coveted by all. Yeah, the Wolf has actually seen a picture of this piece of crap. Maybe try sabotaging his car. No, then see, I get in trouble. By the way, you know how like if you stick a potato or a banana in the tailpipe, all it would require is a piece of gum. And I don't mean a big piece of gum like Bubblicious or, you know what I mean? Or Bubble Yum. A dentine, a chiclet would do it. This thing is such a hunk of junk. And it's like, man, just go to Midas and just get it taken care of, please. Please get it taken care of. Okay, what if you install a muffler on it? I'm not installing a muffler on his sake burner. With 92 million, and the Wolf will back me up on this, 92 million horrifying aftermarket add-ons. You got the dough for all those, but you can't get your muffler fixed. What's up with that? Every dumb sticker, and I mean sticker, not like painted with an airbrush or anything like that. Just like little panther claw marks and a big number on the side, both sides of the doors, and a spoiler that's just the worst, dumbest looking spoiler. Who puts a spoiler on a Honda Genesis? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, we'd hate for that thing to lose it in the turns. I mean, it's horrible. He's not falling for the banana the tailpipe trick. Is not falling for the banana the tailpipe trick. 972-994-6822. I will wait 3.5 minutes. And then I will look forward to the Wolf being on tomorrow when we will talk about USA Up All Night. I slightly feel like I should do that show Up All Night. Like I should do a 5-hour show, because that show was on for 5 hours, sometimes 6. It was a very long show. But if you were up all night, like the Wolf and I frequently are, and frequently were, back in the day, Night Flight started in like 1981, and it ended directly before, it was also on USA Network, Up All Night started. And they were both long shows. They would show like 2 movies and a lot of other stuff. And if you were up all night at that time, there was nothing on. A lot of stations, back in the early days, they closed down overnight for several hours, 2, 3, 4 hours. And a lot of others just had infomercials and terrible replays of the news and things like that. And that show at least had cool cult movies and all sorts of crazy stuff. It was great. It was really, really great. Really great. Let's see here. The only thing not displayed is the silhouette of the girl seated. Yes. Up All Night. Yeah. Night Flight. I kind of like Night Flight too. Been a long time for sure. Also around that same time was Commander USA's Groovy Movie. And you can get that on YouTube. Man, I am so tempted, because me and my best friend at Ball State, the Wolf, of course, is everybody's best friend. The Wolf wasn't in the same grade as me, though. The guy that was my age, we'll put it that way. Let me search this. Commander USA Groovy Movies. I am so tempted to play some of this and get a copyright strike. Let me view the full playlist of Commander, because there's a bunch of them on YouTube. So the movie Mausoleum, Final Terror, The Devil's Gift, Man with the Synthetic Brain, Trick or Treats, Blood Song, Thirsty Dead, Psychotronic Man, The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, The Hearse, Beginning of the End, Princess, A Polish Vampire in Burbank, Psychotronic Man, Cave of the Living Dead, Trick or Treats, Death Kiss, Vampire Men of the Lost Planet. Let me see. I'm not going to do it. Man, I'm getting a double whammy here because the ice cream guy's coming by now. It's 8 o'clock at night. What's the temp here right now? Well, it is 81 degrees, I guess. Can you hear that? Means winter's over. Commander USA Groovy Movies. Groovy is spelled Groovie. Legion of Decency, retired. Lives under a mall. I loved Commander USA. Kingdom of the Spiders, Jaws of Satan, Shock Chamber, Tourist Trap. Gosh, how many movies did they make? They got 52 of them. The Man and the Monster. I wonder if I can find just a little dialogue. I don't think that'll hurt, will it? Just a little taste. Just this little taste, just a little tiny taste. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Let's see here. He's coming in. Let's see here.
Showed up today. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Boy, all kinds of things going on. Boy, the mall is jumping, all kinds of folks.
All right, that probably wasn't worth it. Probably wasn't worth it, Yeah. That probably wasn't even. Julian Zeezer says, remember that old J.C. Whitney catalog where you could buy exhaust muffler cutouts, like 500 different kinds of hood ornaments? Yes, and Julian, they would also have a whole bunch of different kinds of accelerator pads for, you could switch it out so it looked like a footprint or any number of other things. They also, the J.C. Whitney catalog, which they still have, by the way, it's probably predominantly online now, but they had all sorts of kind of crazy stuff. They had the thing that you could customize and put a speaker on the outside of your car so you could yell at people. They had different kinds of sort of legal brake lights that, you could flip a switch and your brake light would be the middle finger, or stuff like. They had all sorts of novelty car stuff. They had seat belts that looked like safety tape, like crime scene tape. All sorts of crazy stuff. All sorts of and a million different gear shift. The gear shift with the skull head on the top of it, and the gear shift with they had all that stuff. Maybe they are colluding. Yes, it could be. Wow, small world. Wolf says he talked about what a cheapskate his dad was. Who did? We're getting into that. We're getting into that. Mike Whitney. I got you. Oh yeah, you told me about that. That you knew the J.C. Whitney guy, and his dad was apparently a real miser, a skinflint. The guy was a real jerk. Julian Caesar said they used to have a separate catalog just for Beatles. Mike Whitney. There we go. I'm with you now. Sorry. I forgot you told me that. Occasionally, I forget one of the 72 million stories we've told each other over the years. Oh, yeah, it's so fun. I'm laughing so hard at me. Oh, a new update for Skype is available. It will automatically restart after you update. Well, that's really great, I'd hate for Skype to not update 4 seconds before they cancel it in May. Let's keep updating it right to the last second. Let me get this dead bug off the screen. Let me get this dead bug off of here. And it's funny to me because that previous screen that I was on, now I'm not even on the screen. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Just awful. This screen here, well, never mind. It's not even worth going into. This screen that I'm on right now is the screen for two people to be on at the same time. And it's 100% full screen, right? If I was to, well, let's see what happens when I do this one. I guess that's not so bad. What about this one? What about this one? What about this one? What about this one? So like this one, see how I'm not full screen? But if I do, then screen is for me with two smaller people over that way. All right. Now, if I go to the screen where half the screen is me, half the screen is another person, and I use this screen when I interviewed Rumpled Trenchcoat and Adrian, now I'm full beautiful like I should be. Why would it give you a smaller screen for anything where you're supposed to be as big as it's just. I don't think they've thought this through. Gilman says, anyone here ever drive a 3 on the tree? I've driven 3 on the tree, and I've driven 4 on the tree. But I think 3 on the tree was more common. I've also driven the kind that was push button. You ever see one of those? The push button shifters? It was like on the dash, and you pushed a button to shift. Those were awful. But 3 on the tree just meant that your gear shift, instead of being, in between the driver's seat and the passenger seat in front, it was on the steering wheel column. And you shifted like that. That was your shifter on the side of the column there. A little awkward. It's just a little awkward. I'm closing the phone lines down. All right. Well, we got no donations tonight. We got no calls tonight. Just a lot of dead bugs. That's all. Let's see here. The Wolf says his dad was the J.C. Whitney guy was a penny pincher. My great uncle was Johnny's valet. He claimed that because he took such good care of him, he was going to take care of him in the will. Left him $1. Left him $1. Yeah. Yeah. Left him $1. That was nice of him. Thank you, Mr. Mortimer. What movie? Anyway, I don't need to put that back up. So, hey, we've had such a wonderful time here tonight talking about dead bugs. We'd like to thank that bug there that gave its life for the show. Not Johnny, J.C. Penney. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. It's just every day I have to write these sentences that are perfect in their construction and totally, there's no ambiguity. It's just, by the way, I'd like to thank my good friends, my former employer, Firearms Legal Protection, for the free koozie. I prefer to call them Huggies. Koozie just sounds gross. It just sounds gross. My keyboard strikes again. Those doggone the keyboards are what created the Triffids, I'm pretty sure. What is that? Let me see here. Just for Metal Maiden Vicky's purposes. I got to get this. Because the Triffids are mentioned in the beginning of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. A lot of people call it Lips, the opening song. It's really called Science Fiction Double Feature. And there are lyrics that say, I knew Leo G. Carroll was over a barrel when Tarantula took to the hills. And I really got hot when I saw Jeanette Scott fight a Triffid that spits poison and kills. So the Triffids are mentioned in that. If you've never seen Day of the Triffids, Day of the Triffids is kind of like, it's more of a psychological horror movie. Really. It really is. Metal Maiden Vicky says, thank you, Bug, for your service to today's show. It has not gone unnoticed. Well, here, let me just... Had to give him a little pat on the back. Right after that lyric is when the lips get licked. Yes. Or Patricia Quinn's lips, magenta, as it is. Yes. Columbia, magenta. With Richard O'Brien singing, of course. Yes. Oh, we're going to get into the dirty details of Rocky Horror and all the little... there's a lot. There's a lot. Oh, boy, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. Columbia. Name a rocket ship. Columbia. Name a color. Magenta. Yes, Richard O'Brien. Good old Richard O'Brien. Those are her lips. They didn't want Richard's mouth for the opening. Patricia's one. But yeah, that was, a stroke of genius. Melva Bumpus says, if Terry Schiavo eats a cheeseburger, does that make her a carnivorous plant? You mean a vegetable? A carnivorous vegetable? Terry is no longer with us, so it doesn't make her anything now. Do you guys remember that really horrible website that they used to have with nothing but people doing Terry Schiavo face? There were thousands of pictures. It was really horrible. And there was a one of the radio shows, it was either Stern or Opie and Anthony, that would play Terry Schiavo trying to talk at some point. But Terry Schiavo, poor woman. Melva, is that avatar Lancelot Link? No, I think it's just a random... No, that's not Lancelot Link. That ain't no Lancelot Link, man. Let me see here. Well, by the way, I looked into it, and Lancelot Link doesn't really have as much information. It would be hard for me to do a show on it. I might at some point, but there's very little public domain footage of it. And otherwise I would. I mean, I can get the logo, but I can't get any real good pictures of Lancelot Link, unfortunately. Maybe it's one of the Banana Bunch. Could be. It could be. Hard to say. Melva, good to have you with us. Good to have you with us, Melva. Metal Maiden Vicky says, early days of the interwebs. Also, there was this cool site called Camp Chaos. Or Camp Chouse, if you're not good at pronouncing words. Let me see here. Wow. Flash humor website in the late 90s called Camp Chaos, created by Bob Seska. The main gimmick was cartoon monkeys throwing things. There's not really much on that either. So, yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff back then. That was a bugged site. Remember the old sites when the web first got really going that had the tiled backgrounds? It was a feature of the mid to late 90s. All right, kids, I think that's just about. I can't in good conscience flog you anymore with this program. I can't. I'd like to, but I can't. Tomorrow night, USA Up All Night. We'll get into it. The Wolf hopefully will join us, and we will get into it. It's quite a story. In addition to the fact, hold on. Late 90s for the web, first mover advantage made some people famous, even though they really didn't do very much. That's right. That's very much correct. Bugged out site, right? Okay, bugged out. Yeah, it did. It did. There were, well, I would say that Drudge was one of those. There was a lot of them that were really, really popular that just didn't. Late 90s, was that also MySpace? Didn't it start early like that? I don't know. I'm talking out my... I don't want to say. Anyway, with all that being said, I'm looking into that old clock on the wall because old Dave needs the money. That's why nobody will sell you a new or used car as low as Bob Catterson Buick. Nobody. And then there was that guy, the Wolf might remember this one. If you don't have a such and such Cadillac price, and he had a big invoice, and he'd rip it, you really don't have a price. They had all these old car commercials that were just trying to be logic. You know, I loved MySpace. Good show tonight. Thank you. I'm hoping 40 people will watch it. We get in these spells where we are just ripping right along, increasing, and we're doing great, and everything's great, and everything's fine, and we're just doing fine, and then all of a sudden, bam. That's happened twice in the last 2 weeks, and it's really singeing my drawers. I know I don't like to use that kind of language, but it is. I guess I shouldn't let it bother me, but it does. Anyway, I'm looking at that old clock on the wall, and it says, like the Reverend Al Green, it's time for me to get up on out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And with all that being said, I've got to go, you know. Well, Wolf's going to do a couple on here. You can actually find those old commercials, by the way. They still exist. They're on YouTube. Anyway, I would play them, but why get struck over a commercial? So anyway, let me see here. I've got to go one channel for a second because thanks StreamYard, because I'm going to play this in stereo. So I'm about to play the outro. I hope you guys like this video. I know how to edit things. And the last one was a test, and I just threw some video files in. This one took me almost an hour. I need help. Anyway, till next time, we'll see you next time with one channel of audio, and we'll see you next time.
1, 2, 3, 4. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gully. I'm here to save the day. We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin, and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking